Yo, welcome to B-Boy Tech Report. This is just a quick video, tutorial, if you will, on how to chop on the MPC 5000. First and foremost, this is actually for a homie of mine that I was supposed to give him a call, didn't get a chance to give him a call. It's been like a week now, so I was gonna make a video. Figured I'd just make this video and it might benefit more than just my homeboy, so I figured I'd throw it up on a post and on the YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe, pass it along, be a lot more as we go on. One quick note though, you'll notice that there's a little, when I'm banging on the pads, it's like a little bit of an earthquake. Please pardon the extra noise when I'm banging on the pads, because you can kind of really feel or hear the rumble in the camera. We'll get better, we'll do better, we'll get greater later. But that's really not the point of this video. The point of the video is to really show you how to chop a quick 2-bar loop on the MPC 5000. When I'm done, you should know a little bit about navigating to hard drive, CF drive, or whatever, pulling up your sample. You could take note on how I have my samples organized. It's not for everybody, but it works. And beyond that, you'll know how to chop. Couple quick settings on chopping and spreading your sample across 16 pads, 8 pads, whatever, what have you. How to trim up your sample a little bit, and how to save the program to a new program. You'll also know how to do a couple of global settings on the program as well. So let's get it. All right, so we got a beat laid across here. On the screen, like I said, so you're not gonna see the numbers that I'm pressing or anything, but I'll tell you what I'm doing so that you'll know what I'm doing. So we're gonna go hit mode disk. That takes us here. As you can see, I'm already where I need to be, but I backed out so that you can see how to get there. I'm using the cursor arrows. I'm gonna go to hard drive. Now this goes for wherever you have your stuff stored. You may have it on CD-ROM drive, you may have it on the CF card, but I have a pre-used library on the hard drive of the MPC 5000. So this is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go hard drive, sound library, drums, and we are going to hit up MPCsamples.com. Alright, we're gonna go to Dirty Drum Breaks. So go down to my favorite, 90 BPMs. Open that up, and let's audition some drum loops. Okay, cool. I like it. Let's hit do it. Now, I don't even want to load it on any pad. So what I'm going to do is just hit do it again. Alright, it loads. Go back to the main screen, and we're going to go mode, trim. Alright, so we go to this window, and we're going to scroll all the way over to the end, because that's where my break is. Let's audition it again. Hit any pad. I usually hit pad 13 because that's the pad that plays the whole loop. Just holding the pad down. Right? Alright, simple. From here, it gets pretty simple. You hit chop, which is F5, and since that's in a perfect 2-bar, let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's exactly 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright? That's why it loops perfectly. So if I hold down the loop button, I don't take my finger off the loop button. I don't re-trigger it. It just loops. So that's a perfect 2 bars. Alright, so that's relevant to what I was saying about chop here. So we're gonna go back to chop, just F5. So we're gonna hit F5. It comes up to this screen, and on this screen it asks you, usually it's probably by default on auto. I don't like to use auto chop. You can actually, it works pretty good on break beats, something that has like really obvious peaks and valleys, right? So the waveform is, you know, it has peaks and valleys. It can go all the way up to a certain peak and all the way back down to 0, and then it goes up and down like that. Auto works very well with that, but I don't like to use that. So we're gonna go to equally. Now when you chop equally, you can do, obviously there's 16 pads. That's why I like to do 16 pads on a 2-bar loop. It is perfect. You can do the same thing on any kind of loop, but you know, there's a certain math that goes with this. So if you got like a 1-bar loop that's perfectly looped already, use 8. Then you'll get it perfectly spread across 8 keys. You could, I mean, if you're real slick with the sampling triggering, you could go up to 16 on a 1-bar loop. But for the purposes of this little quick tutorial, we got a 2-bar loop, so I'm gonna cut it in 16 parts. It's gonna spread it across perfectly on 16 pads. All right, so we got number of regions, 16, do it. Once we do that, we got it pretty much spread across. I'm gonna go to hit 2. That's the next one. Now, it could be a little smoother. At the end, you can crossfade. See how that hits like that? So I'm gonna zoom back out. You can adjust that loop point by using Q-Link 1 and 2. When you use Q-Link 1 and 2, you can adjust it a little bit. Right? Before it sounded more like, right, the next snare was coming in. So I'm bringing it back a little bit. See how that's going on the snare a little bit? Bring it back. Now you got a perfect hi-hat. You can keep on going through. You can hit region 7. It's already perfect. Region 8. That could use a little adjustment because it clips on the end. Right? Now it's not clipping. So you can go through and do that for every one of them. And then, you know, perfectly adjust them for each pad. But once you get done with that, now we're going to hit convert. You hit convert. And you got a couple choices here. You can convert to patched phrase. Another thing that I don't usually do, you can do patched phrase, but that's not what we talk about here. We want to do sliced samples. So you go slice samples. The release is, I usually leave that at 50%. You know, the more you get into sample, you can play around with these settings and make them whatever you want them to be. But then the most important thing here is, so we got slice samples. Then you're going to go create new program. Yes. Because what that's going to do is going to take your sample slices and put it in a program of its own, while it also spreads it across each of the 16 pads. Hit do it. And then it comes up to the screen where it's got one of your samples on it, right? So you go back to the main screen, and on whatever track, it automatically names it after whatever the sample name was. So I imagine the sample was Mono Soul 9, so it has it as Mono Soul 9 Slice. So you have the program selected right there. You hit the window button because it'll be lit up when the program is selected on the screen. You see it's highlighted. You hit window and it comes to your program edit mode. Basically, this is the same thing as hitting mode pad 6. Takes you to the program edit mode. You can mess with the filters and the LFOs and all these different things, but here's like an entire group program edit. Take the scroll bar and go counterclockwise, which is to your left. And, well, excuse me. So first you want to go to this section where it says A1, because that is about which pad you hit. So whichever pad you hit is what it'll tell you is selected there. There you want to go and scroll your when that's selected, scroll your wheel counterclockwise backwards, right, to your left. Then till you get it to say multi, you'll still hit each pad, but it basically is telling you anything that you change now is going to affect all pads. That's not in just bank A, that's throughout all pads. So what I usually do, which is what you probably should do when you got things like this, when you're slicing a beat, you want to go down to voice, I turn that boy to mono, go to group, I turn that boy to 1. And you can play with those settings a little bit too. So what happens is you're basically cutting one pad off when you hit the next, because the mute group, they're all a part of the same mute group, so you're cutting one pad off when you hit the next one, and that helps to kind of alleviate some of the clicking and stuff. The other thing here is program tune. It is what it says, you can tune the whole program. So we hear what we got, right? I'm gonna go to -2, and then you'll hear the difference. Right? And that's it. That's how you make a program. You come out of there and you're back to this. So if you put this on 90, because that's what the beat was on, the break beat in the first place, you got a 2-bar thing going on. You can make a little sequence. So it's a little off, but that really doesn't matter. The object of this was to show you how to pull up a sample, a loop. After pulling up the loop, you know now how to slice it. Auto chop. It's not really auto chop, but slicing equal parts of 16. You now know how to make a new program. You also know how to do some basic editing in the program. So that right there is how you grab a loop and chop it. Spread it across the pads. Boom. B-Boy Tech Report.
B-Boy Tech Report.